Good evening and welcome to Hear My Voice. I am Sharee, and this evening I will be coming to you from Psalm 7. In Psalm 1, it begins with David crying out to the Lord. It says, "Lord my God, I take refuge in you. Save and deliver me from all who pursue me." As it continues to go on, and I encourage you throughout the week to go back and read Psalm 7, meditate on this. David is crying out to the Lord, "Vindicate me according to my righteousness," in Psalm 7:8, according to my integrity. But the thing that stood out to me is in order for David to come to the Lord the way he was crying out to him, he had to know who the Lord was and the position that he held in the Lord. And so that's why we encourage you to go back, get in your scriptures to find out exactly who the Lord is. The Lord is our refuge. And this time, especially, not sure when this will be airing, but just the whole month of August, this is a time for me that's been very reflective. I think back to 2018. In August of 2018, I lost my mom. And during that time, that was a very dark place for myself, my children. And I had to come to know the Lord on a whole nother level. He literally became my refuge. Like, the fact that I'm standing here today is nothing but God. So I encourage you guys, when you don't know what to do, pick up your word, get in your Bible, because I think about it like the analogy is like if you're asking a request of someone, when you know who that person is and if they can grant you that request, then you don't have any problems approaching them with boldness, approaching them knowing that they are more than capable of answering. And if you don't get in your word, you won't know who God is to you. So I encourage you to get in your word, to find out who he is. God is our strong tower. He's our provider. But more than this, he wants to have a relationship with us. He desires intimacy with us. And so I encourage you to cry out to the Lord. Put those things before him that you may feel are tripping you up, or those things that keep pulling you back. Like, there's nothing too small that the Lord is not willing to do on our behalf. And even as David was saying in Psalm 7:8, according to his righteousness and according to his integrity. Why was he righteous? Did he have integrity? Because of Christ. Christ paid it all for us. And because of him, because of that relationship we have with him, that's why we can go boldly before his throne. So as we finish up on the end of Psalm 7, it says, "I will give thanks to the Lord because of his righteousness. I will sing praises of the name of the Lord Most High." And right there, we're giving thanks because of his righteousness, not because of what he does for us or the things we can get, but because of who he is. And until you get in your word, you really don't know. It's one thing to know what somebody told you. It's another thing to know for yourself. And I always tell my kids, I use the analogy just because I've been in a lot of car accidents. It's one thing to know a seatbelt is supposed to protect you when you get in an accident. But when you've actually been in an accident, when you've actually flipped off a freeway 4 times like I have and been held, I know for sure that the seatbelt holds. And so it's the same thing, not the same thing, but use that in comparison. Get in your word, find out who God is, and you can bet on him. You can take that to the bank. But until you know for yourself, you're missing out. So I encourage you, go back this week, read Psalm 7. The Lord is your refuge. He's always with you, and he desires a relationship with you. Thank you again. I'm Sharee, and this has been another episode of Hear My Voice.